So hey, it's Kris for Hit the Floor magazine, and I'm very honoured to be with the lead singer of one of my all-time favourite bands. It's Kris Roe from the Ataris. How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you going?
I'm very good. I'm especially privileged. Like the Ataris, along with Andrew WK, are my top two bands of all time.
Right on.
So,
well, nice to know that we're in company of a very nice gentleman. That's Andrew WK is a nice guy. I was on Warped Tour with him one year, and he was definitely one thing I always noticed about that guy. The same kind of aesthetic and kind of ethics that we have. The very like DIY, very all of our fans are really important to us. He would always stand outside and we do the signings and things at Warped Tour, and he would we would sign personalized things, but he would sign a book for like every kid, so it was pretty intense.
he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. So obviously it's really nice to have you back in the UK. I think it's been about 5 years since you've been.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, the wait was basically because my father was in and out of the hospital, and then we were doing a lot of recording and whatnot. But we're happy to be back. Shows have been insanely good. So
it's the final date of the UK tour. So
yeah,
hopefully something special tonight. So.
No, I mean, the last night felt like the final date because our old bass player Mike, who plays in Versus the World, he had to leave last night because he couldn't do the last date with them. He's meeting Versus the World for their shows in Germany. So we kind of all said our goodbyes last night, and tonight, I think it'll be like just a continuation of last night. Last night will be hard to top because it was like sold out in Camden, 500 people, and the greatest audience of the tour so far. So I hope tonight can top it. I mean, we've had good shows in Plymouth, so I imagine it'll be good.
We'll do our best.
We have fun regardless. Every show has been good, even though one or two small ones were still a lot of fun. But just it's great to be back in the UK, and the audiences are very giving and very cool.
So it's been a while since you've released anything. Obviously, you've released 4 tracks from Graveyard of the Atlantic.
Those are free to download at theataris.bandcamp.com. And I think if any fans of the Ataris or what we were doing during like So Long Astoria or the older albums, they'll find something they like in those songs, but it's still a continuation forward. Because one thing I think as a musician and artist, I could never take a step backwards, and I think that was something that no one in their right mind, if you're a musician, you're going to listen to what people want. You're going to do what feels true to you inside your heart, and that's what we've always done. And at 36 years of age, I feel that, it's just a natural step forward, but still, kind of a continuation of what the Ataris is all about in our spirit,
It's always nice to hear, each Ataris album seems to kind of represent how your life is at that time. Obviously, when we kind of welcome tonight came out, obviously you're in a very different place at that time, and obviously we saw that in your music. I almost wondered whether you were going to do a kind of Metallica S&M thing with the cello and kind of be like Ataris with a full backing orchestra.
No, that's completely. We had a cello player on that, and we did on the live set too. Thing is like for me, like I think there came to a point right around like 2003 where I just lost inspiration in like what people called punk rock. I think that for me, punk rock is something that came around once for me when I was 13 or 14 years old, and I discovered like the Damned, X, the Clash, the Ramones, all those bands, the Descendants. That really inspired me as far as what punk rock was. The Replacements are probably one of my all-time favorite bands, but they were just more of a rock band. But so I think in the last 10 or 15 years, it's gone from, listening to bands like that to, gravitating back into the other stuff I love, like Sonic Youth and Radiohead and Wilco, My Bloody Valentine, all the stuff that is spirited in punk rock as far as the sense that it's daring and pushes boundaries. That's really all what punk rock was about. The thing for me is punk rock became this safety routine of people trying to pigeonhole themselves into a corner, and it was more about, how can we conform and less about how can we break barriers and boundaries, and that just nothing to do with what we do. So musically, I just feel more inspired by music outside of what most of the mainstream calls punk rock. I don't think there's anything punk about, Pretty Boy, Justin Bieber lookalike bands and bands that fucking auto-tune everything and make every kick drum lined up on the beat, It's got to have heart and mistakes. Mistakes are what make songs beautiful and honest,
Yeah. Have you got a release date for the full length?
No, not a fucking chance. But we've got about 20 songs recorded, and then I'm going to go in and try to finish vocals for a handful of those, and then do 12 or 13 more songs that I've written recently take like the best ones of that batch of like 30 songs and make a record out of that.
Okay.
Whatever songs are remaining will end up on some limited 7 inches and splits or something with other bands we like, and maybe some of them no one will ever hear.
Okay.
You know, so.
I mean, you've obviously been keeping up your punk rawness, but you've been doing the Higley with Bill Stevenson from the Descendants.
That was just a fun project with a friend of mine. I mean, you know, like Bill's always been an inspiration to me, and he's been a good guy. So, you know, my buddy Kevin Carl, who wrote those songs, he, if anybody's wondering what the hell we're talking about, I did this. I sang on a couple songs for my buddy Kevin Carl, and Bill from Black Flag and the Descendants played the drums. Just because Bill and I really respect Kevin as a writer and a friend. Kevin helped me move into my new apartment when I moved out west, and that was kind of in return. Like, hey, man, you know, I don't want any money to help you move. Just sing on my track. So then you're a singer. So that was kind of like a favor kind of thing. And I'm proud of his songs, but it's not like a live touring band or anything.
Okay,
I mean, they ask us to do shows, but Bill's plenty busy doing Flag and doing the Descendants. So
so it's just for a couple of songs. It's not like a full...
maybe a few more. I don't know, but yeah, you know.
Okay. I heard last time you came to England when you were in Birmingham, a girl gave you her tooth that she had ripped out. You remember?
I mentioned that in a recent...
I think it was rock.com, I think it was.
Oh, no, I mentioned it in a podcast I did recently, but then somebody might have picked up on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't much more to it than that. I mean, I was going into sound check, and then some girl just came up and was like, hey, close your eyes. I got a surprise for you. And I was like, okay, hold out your hands. And she handed me her bloody, crusty molar that she got yanked that day. And that was one of the weirder things somebody's given to me as a fan. But
I mean, has anything kind of got near to that? Oh,
yeah, there's plenty of fucking weirdness. I mean, I stand there and sell merch all night long, and I'm more than happy to talk to everybody. But, like, what I don't understand still is, like, I'm just some fucking nerd that, like, plays music. Like, you know, like, when I met David Bowie, I geeked out. When I met, like, but I still, like, dude, I don't go, like, oh, my God, you're fucking Bowie. You know, but people do that, and it's just like, dude, if you know me, I'm, like, the biggest fucking nerd. You wouldn't want to, like, just, you know, but if you want to come up and rap about music and stuff, I'll talk your ear off all day long. I'm really easily approachable, but yet I'm very socially awkward, and I have a really, really big social anxiety, even though it might not seem like it, you know, but that's what medication helps with, you know, so.
One thing, obviously, you've always been very into your photography and everything, and obviously England's obviously full of a lot of history and stuff. I mean, what kind of things have you kind of found to kind of shoot while you've been over here?
You know, man, on these shows, it's like there's been no time to breathe. It's been like, today I took a train here, got off the train, took a taxi here, and you saw me walk in, went, checked in with everybody, and then I go straight to merch after I'm done with this to sell merch. Then I'll go on stage, play, pack up, and then go back to London, drive 4 hours. So, you know, today I shot some, you know, scenery outside the train window, but as far as like stop and shoot and actually like have some time to absorb, hopefully we have a couple days off after tomorrow, but I'll be in Paris. So hopefully, you know, I'll have some more time during the Europe leg, you know, but yeah, but I'm, as far as my photography, I like to shoot like the broken down, sad beauty of the world. And that basically just is all, you know, anything that's like, got a story and it's long decaying and broken down, that's me, you know.
Okay. Obviously last year, we won't go too much into this, but there was that incident with your previous drummer, which people can read about everywhere. We kind of we don't need to go into that.
What are you talking about there? What are you talking about?
It's kind of something that just happened.
But the way the Ataris kind of always work is I record all the records myself in the studio, and the live lineup's changed a bit, but my bottom line is I'm out with my friends and my brothers, and, you know, we all have those nights. But when somebody goes on stage under the influence of a bunch of drugs and alcohol and can't even play and embarrasses the band, you know, this band is here to exist for our fans. And I find it's a big slap in the face to our fans when somebody gets up there. And there's so many people that would love to be doing what we're doing. And I built this band on being humble, being for our fans, and going out and, like, have a fucking fun time, go party after the show, but if you're going to get up there and, like, make us look bad in front of our fans and not give them 110%, then you should be in another band. That's what it comes down to. And so I fucking destroyed the drum kit, and just in my kind of in a protest of like, dude, fuck this then, don't play. I'll just, you know, I will disassemble the drum so you can no longer play anymore. But what people didn't see in that incident is that I was like stuck around and played like 15 songs for our fans, and before that even happened, there were about 6 songs of me going up to our drummer and saying, dude, are you all right? You want to go have a coffee, take a break? Anything I can do to help you, man, let me know. And he's like, I can't play. And it's like, well, I didn't feed you drugs and alcohol all day long. You chose that. So Yeah. Anyway, have fucking fun. But if you want to be in Aerosmith or Motley Crue, go join Motley Crue or Aerosmith, not the Ataris.
I was just wondering, has there been any moments during your career which you think would be as rock and roll as that? Because that's a pretty rock and roll
there's
thing.
Plenty. Problem is nowadays every person in the crowd spends their time filming a show rather than watching it. So back then, when bands like us would get in our brotherly brawls on stage or destroy our gear, only person that was filming it was probably my camera, and I have all those tapes. But someday maybe people will see. But I mean, that's what rock and roll is about. It's about daring, chaotic, fucking unpredictable nights like that. I've seen many a band break up on stage in front of my eyes. Some of my favorite bands, and then the next day they're fine again. People think that's like something that doesn't happen. It should happen. It needs to happen because that's what rock and roll is about. Danger, not safety. That's nothing to do with it. Granted, I don't believe in violence. I think I've gotten 3 fights in my life. I wasn't throwing drums at the guy. I was just destroying the drums. I was from here to you. If I wanted to hit him with drums, I could have hit him. I didn't.
Fair enough. Yeah. We've got a bit of a fan question. I've tried to look it up because I'm sure you must have
they're about to rock. I
Okay.
want to talk to you for 20 more minutes, but go ahead. We'll try to talk with them.
Okay, it's a mega quick one. Okay, Claire Danes. Did she ever find out about your song? If she did,
I met her once. I went and saw her boyfriend play. He's like a kind of Dylan-esque songwriter. And I just wanted to get a photo with her because we had that silly tongue-in-cheek song. It was never meant to be serious. It was sarcastic. And long story short, she wouldn't even take a photo with me. She's like one of 3 people that have refused. Oh man, I can't take a photo with you. It's like we were just backstage hanging out at the bar that we totally owned. It was like our place. We played every weekend. I'm like, okay, whatever. The other person was Slash. We played a festival with Slash in Australia called Soundwave, and I went up to him like, excuse me, Slash, can I get a photo with you? He goes, now's not the time, dude. What the fuck, man? I mean,
2 seconds.
When can I pencil you in for a 7:30, Mr. Slash? And then Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys, same shit. We were playing a festival. I mean, he was dead now. I'm not taking piss on him, but fucking seriously, take 5 minutes. I'll sell merch for fucking an hour straight, and then I'll stand around for another 20 minutes taking photos of every last person because that's what we're about. I don't want to meddle. I just want to say it takes 5 seconds to take a photo with somebody, but whatever. But yeah, the song My So-Called Live, we don't play that one. It's just a silly song. We play so many old songs, but there's 1 or 2 that I think are a little too sticky for what the band is. But it's all Blue Skies and Astoria songs on our set every night, and we try to make our fans happy while also being true to what we believe.
Do you think you'd ever play Up, Up, Down live?
Sure, but that's a song that, like I said, I record all the albums in the studio, so the other 3 cats, they don't know that song. Yeah. But I mean, I would gladly play it if they knew it. Yeah. We just have to rehearse it.
So I remember I was actually at the first time you ever played that song in TJ's, and you actually said on stage you'd never played it live before.
Acoustic, I played it, yeah.
I showed you the name on my phone because I didn't want to shout it out and look like an idiot.
At least I did it for you one time, yeah.
So thanks for that. So obviously we got a lot of noise, so let's wrap it up a bit. Any last messages you'd like to send out to other fans or anything else you need to plug into?
Just thanks for such an awesome, fun tour. We couldn't have asked for anything more. And, we're happy to end in Plymouth. Hopefully we can give you, 120%. Last night I think we gave 110. I mean, I guess the only way we can end it with a bang is give it the extra 10 tonight. I mean, it's going to be hard. It was a sweaty, crazy gig, but yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's going to be fun. I'm happy to have a couple days off too because I feel like you play 8 or 9 shows in a row, you start to get on autopilot and you got to remind yourself come on, man, it's not, it might be one night after the other, but these kids, this is their first night seeing you in so many years. So yeah, I really I'm just going to try to pump myself up and get ready for it, Sure.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us, and we'll look forward to seeing you a bit later.
Cheers, thank you. Appreciate the interview. Thanks for waiting around.